one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win. Now the 2-1.
Line drive to the base hit. Just as the score the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines that sat when they were children and cheered their heroes.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is gonna be a home run. Unbelievable!
A 3-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead by a score of 3-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series.
They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past.
The Pope arrived at Yankee Stadium. As one enthusiastic announcer put it, he is standing on second base.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is goodbye. Big World Series for Reggie. The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run.
Racker throws. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant.
The 0-1 pitch. A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
The memories will be so thick that I can brush them away from their faces.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings long drive left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run. The Red Sox win. And the series is...
Lolich fires. Ball is hit high in the air. This should be the series. Freehand waving everybody away in foul territory. Detroit wins.
Here's the pitch to Willie. There's a liner straight to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over. Willie McCovey hit it like a bullet. A line drive right.
Baseball to mark the time.
The Oakland A's take. I'll tell you what, we're having an earth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again.
Frank Robinson, the right-hand batter.
Long drive to left field. Way back. Here's 6 pitch out. Home run.
Base hit loaded, 1 out. Pena in a jam. The Twins are gonna win the World Series. The Twins have won it.
Ozzie with 1 out. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the
Willie Mays just brought this crowd to its feet with a catch, which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of people.
This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again.
Broadcasted live.
Who wants to have some fun?
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, are you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right there is your host, Dan Scott.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Friday, and the first show that we've done in about a week, maybe a little longer than that. I am Dan Scott, for those of you who may have forgotten or tried to forget over the course of the last week or so. Good to be with you here on what's a beautiful but cold day here in the upstate of South Carolina, and looking forward to spending the next hour with you here on our final show of 2017. Got a good one lined up for you here in about 5 minutes or so. Bob Richey, the head coach of the Furman basketball team, is going to be joining us, and it's going to be a dual interview, if you will, because while we are doing the live interview here with you, it's also going to serve as the main portion of the 10th episode of the All Den podcast, which will be released a little bit later on today. So you guys actually get a preview of the All Den podcast right out of the gate this morning. But the basketball team coming off of a 9-4 non-conference schedule, the most non-conference wins this program has had in the season since the 1954-55 season, if you can believe that. Now open Southern Conference play, the final 18 regular season games in league play, and it starts on Saturday, tomorrow, in Lexington, Virginia, against the Keydets of VMI. The best thing I can say about this trip is it's a Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock and not a Thursday at 7, because when you go up and back in the same day to do a basketball game like Tom Van Hoy and I choose to do on the road, getting back at, say, 11 o'clock at night is much, much better than getting back in at, say, 3 o'clock in the morning, probably even earlier than 11. But it's a VMI team that is going to start looking different than the VMI teams we have been accustomed to seeing in the past, with Duggar Bacom now 2 years gone, and those players kind of filtering out of the system. The new coaching staff there transitioning from a run up and down the floor, shoot a bunch of threes, to a bit of a different style. We'll get Bob Richey's take on VMI and the conference opener. And then after the first of the year, January the 4th and the 6th, it's back-to-back home games here on that Thursday and Saturday, beginning with the Citadel. So that's going to be a heck of a game. And it's going to be a game, both of those actually, before the students officially report. So we're hoping that some are going to come early, that some of the other teams that are here on campus that have reported back will come over and support, and of course want as many of you as possible to make your way to Timmons Arena for that opener on the 6th. But what's ahead immediately is tomorrow's game against VMI. We are also heading towards the college football championship semifinals, which will all take place on Monday night, and we'll be talking more about that coming up in just a bit as well. And see what else we can get into. We're going to be taking a look back and a look ahead here on today's program. The show, as always, brought to you by our friends at the Atlanta Bread Company. They're located in Cherrydale Plaza, just down the road from campus here. My goodness, we almost had to put Robbie Bostain on injured reserve right out of the gate this morning. Robbie, there's some steps right there. You might a rolling chair too close to a set of steps is never a good thing. Anyway, good morning to you too. The Atlanta Bread Company is always a good thing. I was there this morning. I had my usual breakfast, got my coffee, and we're off and running and ready to go. Cold mornings like this, cold days like this are made for the Atlanta Bread Company because of the hot soup, the hot chili, the hot sandwiches, hot coffee, and other hot beverages. Kind of get the idea of things to kind of warm your soul on a cold day. That's the Atlanta Bread Company. You'll hear more about them in this commercial set. We're going to try to keep Robbie Bostain upright, and Bob Richey should be joining us when we come back on the other side. Just getting this final show of 2017 underway. The Dan Scott Show will return in just a moment.
Hey Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingles, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingles, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget their gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPO Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today. All right, welcome back to the show. We are just getting things cranked up here on this Friday, final show of 2017. Joining us, as always, is head coach Bob Richey and the Furman basketball team coming off the most successful non-conference season win total-wise since the 1954-55 season at 9-4 going into the break, coming out of the break, getting set to begin Southern Conference play against VMI. It's good to see you, my friend. How you doing?
I'm good. We're excited to get going here tomorrow, and, as some people always say, it's kind of the second season, and everything kind of starts over. So, it's quick Christmas. I thought it was a good break. We got about 5 days off, and got back at it the night of the 26th. And from what it appears, we've had a good week of preparation. So we'll practice here in a little bit and get on the buses and head up to Lexington.
First things first. How was Christmas at the Richey household?
It was fun. Usually you get an average of about, probably in my career, I've had a 2-day break, a 3-day break, and occasional 4-day break. This was the first 5-day break I've had in 13 years of doing this. And, it was good, because once we got back from Knoxville, emotionally, mentally, physically, and all that, it took about a day to get out of, to recover. And then we got to get into a little bit of the Christmas spirit, so to speak. And the kids had a blast. They're at the age where it's a lot of fun. So got to enjoy Christmas and see all our family, and got back to work.
Were you able to put basketball away totally for 5 days?
Not totally.
I didn't think so.
I still in the mornings and at night when it got quiet, I tried to take a few peeks at some opponents coming up with conference play started, but really tried to do a good job of being focused in on the family when that time was given to us.
I got to tell people who weren't there, and we tried to give a sense in the post game after the incredibly close loss to Tennessee, which at the time was the 20th ranked team in the country. Tried to paint as much of a picture as we could of how emotional, how upset you were. And we talked about this at the beginning of the broadcast. You didn't go into that just, hey, we're happy to be here. You went in to win the ball game. Felt like you should have won the ball game, and that would hurt to let that one kind of get away at the end of the game.
Yeah, it did. And it's a fine line because, it's like I told the team after the game, we're not going to walk out of here miserable. You know, we're not going to walk out of here like, you know, super machos that, you know, we just, if you don't win, then everything's, you know, just a disaster. We've got to be able to look and see what did we do from a positive perspective to put us in the situation that we were in. But then we also got to look dead in the face and figure out why weren't we able to close. And some of that was a credit to Tennessee. I mean, Schofield was a man in the last 5 minutes, and obviously a pretty tough matchup for us. But, you know, the block out we gave up on the free throw was very costly. And, you know, but the guys kept battling. I mean, we had the execution error. But then John Davis goes down there and steals the ball back. You know, and it was a little bit of just how the night went. You know, we did make some mistakes, but we just kept battling. And, you know, it was one of those deals where I think what I told him afterwards is I think this is going to come valuable later in the year. And is that going to be a game for a championship? Is that going to be a game in the tournament? Heck, is that going to be a game in March? Because that would be – as we stand right now, that's a potential NCAA tournament team, and so that experience at some point will prove to be a growth experience for us going forward in the season.
It could have its first manifest of that tomorrow.
Absolutely.
At VMI.
Absolutely.
I mean, you learn and apply as you go on through the season. Got to talk about Devin Sibley for a moment, and we talked about it prior to the game, going back, playing in his hometown. Leading scorer in the history of Carnes High School there in Knoxville. Had a little bit of a rough first half. Second half, he was the best player on the floor. I don't think there's any question about that.
And, you know, I mean, I told him this at halftime because he asked me what he had to do to get going a little bit. And I thought this at halftime, and then after I watched the game the next day, I agreed with my personal assessment. He didn't play as bad as people thought in the first half. And what I mean by that is he didn't score it, but he did move well. And what you have to do when you're getting keyed on is you just got to make sure your feet don't stick. You got to make sure you're cutting. You got to make sure you're moving. And then mentally you got to keep your poise. And he missed a couple of looks from the perimeter, and they did a good job of really keying on him. But I thought mentally and emotionally stayed in the game. And sometimes as a really good player, that's what you have to do. A team's not just going to let you go out there just, you know, for 40 minutes, just kind of go out there and do what you want to do. And then in the second half, what I told him at halftime is I said, look, you can't just make a living on the perimeter. You're going to have to go and attack these guys. You're going to have to get the ball to the rim and play off of 2 feet and use your strength at the rim. And, man, it was a 2-foot clinic. I mean, you know, in terms of trying to put a fundamental tape together of how to play off of 2 feet for a guard, he only tried one finish off of 1 foot in that game, and it was his last one late in the game that he missed. But his balance, his strength, his ability to play off of 2 feet and attack the rim was exceptional in that game.
And I would add his body control.
Well, that goes with it.
Yeah,
that goes with it. You know,
his ability in the air to whether it's double clutch or shift or do what it takes to avoid guys coming at him.
Well, but that's part of it. And all these kids, this day and age, the players, they all want to play off of 1 foot. You know, they feel like they can glide, they can move, they can get higher, but you have no balance with it. And, you know, when you keep your feet and when you play off of 2 feet, now you have the balance and you can take the hits and you can take the bumps. And that's what he was able to do. And, you know, I was really, really proud of him for being able to emotionally stay in the game. And then, you know, the third and the fourth foul, which we won't discuss on the air, but for him to be able to even keep his head through that, I thought was also a sign of growth for him.
And for your team to be able to stay basically step for step with the Volunteers while he's on the bench for the extended time after picking up his fourth foul. And then he came back in, and the thing that I liked was there was no lack of aggressiveness on his part.
No, he stayed with it, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, he was able to stay over there and keep his mind and keep his focus. And, yeah, we were down 6 when he went out, and, you know, he did a good job of really loosening up their defense. But we were able to take the lead, and, you know, credit to Jeff Beans. I thought Jeff Beans was exceptional in that game. I thought Clay Mount showed some good signs in that game. And, you know, I thought that some guys did some – and John Davis did a great job with the ball screen versus the pressure, you know, in that second half. And, you know, I thought a lot of guys stepped up even when he went out of the game.
So 9-4, as we mentioned, it's the most wins in a non-conference season since the Lyles Alley era, 1954-55. Had you sat down and scripted the first 13 games, is this about where you thought you would be?
This is going to sound really cliche, but people really – I shouldn't say they don't understand, but this business will exhaust you if you get into predictions and future outcomes, and you really have to do a good job mentally. And I got a lot of advice from my mentors in this. You've really got to just put everything you got into the game at hand. And I was telling my wife this the other day, actually, from the other angle of it. I said, and I don't know if I should say this on the radio or not, but I'm going to. But I don't know if I'd feel any different right now if we were 9-4 or 7-6. You know what I'm saying? Like would I feel any worse? Would I feel better? You're always just trying to get better. Like where are we right now? And then what do we got to do to get a little bit better? And what's been nice is the team's really bought into that mentality, and we were able to see that. Have we dealt with adversity? Absolutely. I mean, the Winthrop game has proven to be a growth spot for us. I think the Tennessee game will come valuable. The Duke game was a great experience of us having to deal with some pressure. The Butler game, from an offensive poise standpoint, from being able to take care of the ball. So, we've been able to pull and really be able to kind of define this team and figure out a way to get better. And the best thing as I sit here right now that I go back to is 9-4, 10-3, 8-5, like whatever the record is, we are an improved ball club from November 10th to right now, right? And that's where you get the good feeling from, is we've improved substantially in some areas. Now, what can we do in the next 2 months?
And that's kind of where I was going with the question, not so much necessarily from a wins and loss standpoint. I probably should have phrased it a little differently, but progression.
Correct.
Have you seen the progress that you hope to see?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at it, as you assess mid-year, I think one of the big question marks that we all had early, especially coming off the Elon win, in our first Division I win, and the starters having to carry so much of the load, the early question was, can the bench grow, right? Is the bench going to be able to come in and do what they need to do? And we've seen that the last 4, 5, 6 games. The bench has really grown up. I think that we've seen, Devin Sibley mature. He's a marked guy. He's a guy that has a target on him every single night. He's going to get the bulk of the scouting report. We've seen him be able to adjust to that and to really grow from a mental standpoint, which I think has been healthy for our ball club. And I think that I looked at it the other day. I try not to get into the noise. I try to limit myself to getting too bogged down in some of this stuff. But just looking at the numbers and the analytics, I think we're in the 77th percentile defensively in the country right now, and we're in the 78th percentile, I believe, offensively in the country right now. So I do love the fact that we're a balanced ball club. It's we talked about this before, the world in basketball that we live right now. We want to talk about Golden State and their offense. They were second in defensive efficiency last year in the NBA, and nobody talks about that. And if you want to be a championship-level club, you've got to be balanced. And we've been fighting for that. We don't want to be a defensive team. We don't want to be an offensive team. We want to be a balanced ball team. And so far in the mid-year, versus a very competitive schedule, we've been able to do that.
This is head coach Bob Richey, and it's also episode 10 of the All Den podcast, kind of little dual role that we're doing here today on the show. How did the guys come back from a 5-day break? And I know you're practicing as we're recording this and doing the show on Friday with VMI on Saturday, tomorrow. How'd they come back from the break? You kind of referenced it briefly a moment ago. I assume that things have gone well.
Yeah, they have. We brought them back the night of the 26th, so Tuesday night, and that gives you a 4-day prep going into the game. And so you got to be strategic there. You can't just come at them for 4 days and just go full tilt. But we've been able to do a really good job, I think, of blending competition, skill, some schematic and execution things, and really pieced it together. The first night we did some film work. We obviously got the Tennessee stuff out of the way, tried to figure out what we can get better from that, and then spent some time cleaning some things up. Might have done a block out or two Tuesday night, but did some stuff in defensive transition, did some things on the boards, and really tried to streamline that. Wednesday we almost treated it like a game day, just to try to get the rust off. We did 4 8-minute games and really let the guys get up and down, did some different things with lineups, worked on a couple different things, and really just tried to exhaust their legs. And then yesterday we scaled back a little bit in terms of from contact, just because the contact was pretty heavy the first two, and really did more execution, did a lot of skill. We shot a ton. And then today it'll be all, prepping for VMI. And we'll have a good prep day for that, and then get on the bus and go up there to play tomorrow.
All right, let's as we get ready to close it out, let's talk about VMI, because from what I've been reading, tell me how accurate this is. 2 and now in the 3rd year of Duggar Baucom being out of there and at the Citadel, as those players have cycled out of the program, their makeup is starting to change a little bit. From what I'm reading, they're not playing necessarily the same run it up and down the floor, shoot as many threes as you can style that they had been playing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, it's a completely different system. But Dan's doing a good job with this group. They're really young, but you can, when you watch the film, they're well coached, and they've got good spacing. They have good ball movement. Their guards are playing pretty aggressive. They do a good job in transition, and so they're changing their identity a little bit. But just like what we saw when we went through it, they've got some young guys that I think they like, and so they're letting them go out there and get their feet wet a little bit and make some mistakes, but they're trying to instill some confidence in them.
Take their lumps early.
Correct. And so they're they played VCU to 10 the other night, right before Christmas. Went up there and played a competitive game. So we'll have to go up there. I mean, it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be the first conference game. Everybody's 0-0, and they're going to be excited. They're going to be at home. It's a 1:00 tip, and it's one of those deals where we've got to go. It's like I told the team last night. We've got 18 opportunities to go see if we can play to the best of our ability, right? And we've got 10 goals that we go in every game with. We haven't had one game yet where we've hit all 10. And the next challenge is an opportunity to go hit all 10 of those marks. And it's not about who we're playing. It's not about the opponent. It's not about what they run. It's not about, can we go play to the standard that we need to play at to be successful? And if we can focus on that and go do that, then, it could be a good start for us. But if we go up there and we're not focused and we get outside of identity and we don't feel like we got to go play as hard as we need to, then it could be a bad day. And that's just the nature of college basketball, and that's why we play the game.
What's the highest number of those in-game goals that you've hit?
We had 8. We've gotten 8, and I think that's the highest. So, it's just always there's 5 on each side of the ball, and it's just, always what can we do to get a little bit better. And that's what's so good about this group, man. They really bought into that. Just what do we? They don't have this complacent look to them.
Yeah.
I didn't have to convince them after the Tennessee game that everything's okay. I didn't have to emotionally try to figure out what's the message here. Like, they get it. They saw that they competed. They knew, they believed they could win, but they were disappointed. They were disappointed, and so. I love this group. I love what they're about. I love their makeup, and just looking forward to this 18-game conference journey.
Starts at 1:00 on Saturday, tomorrow, as we're sitting here doing the show, and we look forward to getting it underway.
Sounds good. And just for everybody out there, in terms of recruits, just to update everybody.
Oh yeah, we're gonna want to mention.
We got our guys are playing well, which is always good to see. Jalen Pugh opened up his opening game. They have Cartersville has the quarterback going to Clemson, so it's a football power. So they pushed their season back a little bit. But he had 27 points the first night. Coach Murray got up there to see Mike Bothwell play. He played against St. Ignatius in Cleveland, which is a very, very good basketball program. He had 29 in that game, which was good to see. And then Slauson's having a great start to a year. He's a Pinewood Prep, so they play private. And this is kind of their time where they get to play some public schools down there. And I think he had 27 versus Goose Creek, which has always been a very good high school team in the state. And then 2 nights ago, they beat Wando in the round ball down there, and he had 22 in that game. So, and then I'm sure we've seen on Twitter, Andrew Taylor scored his 3,000th point the other night, and first time in the history of that school that's been done. And so he was getting recognized last night, and we were able to go up there and got to see him play. He had 33 points and 9 rebounds, and played against another Division I kid going to Northern Kentucky. And so we're excited about this team. We're also excited about what the future brings and going forward with this program.
Yeah, going to see Taylor, with people who saw it on Twitter, you got a little assist.
Yeah, we had a little assist. So we got to live the day in the life of the high major group, huh? And that's neat to see that the team's done that, right? Like what these kids and what these guys have done to build this program to a point where people are starting to pay attention, and they're really actually wanting to support it. and they're wanting to try to figure out a way to make this thing better. That's so encouraging. And, so to be able to do that, it saved us in time. I think we left Greenville at 5 o'clock, and I was in my house at 11:30. So that was a neat experience.
Not bad. All sounds like a great opportunity, and the opportunities continue to present themselves. 18 of them now, one game at a time, starting at VMI tomorrow, Saturday. Bob, good luck. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's head coach Bob Richey. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on the show right after this. Don't go away.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Travelers Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money, too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
Let me tell you something, Cowboy. This rookie can really bring the heat.
He's smoky and spicy with a Chipotle style all his own.
It's a new Montgomery Inn Chipotle barbecue sauce. Make it a part of your home team.
Available now at your neighborhood grocer or online at CincyFavorites.com.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before a Furman home game. And don't forget the gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
So you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPR Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today. All right, welcome back to the show. Our thanks to head coach Bob Richey for coming in and spending some time with us. That will also be the main portion of the All Den podcast, episode 10, which will drop a little bit later on in the day. As we continue on the show, word about Greenville Steakhouse, the Greenville Steakhouse, Hall's Chop House in downtown Greenville. As 2017 winds to a close, they have had a marvelous year, and I know they want to thank all of you for helping make that possible. Looking forward to an even greater 2018. And why not? As I tell you, when you call yourself the anything, you got to be able to back it up, and man, do they, with the steaks from Allen Brothers, Prime Steaks out of Chicago. That's where the menu starts. Everything falls into place after that. And look, Christmas may be over, but you still have corporate meetings and other reasons to have meetings, whether it's family reunions, any kind of get-together. Man, do they have the space for you. So check it out. That is Hall's Chop House, conveniently located in downtown Greenville, the Greenville Steakhouse. Well, how was your 2017? How would you stack it up? If I'm being totally honest, like every other year, I think personally it involved a lot of ups and downs, and that is to be expected more often than not. But if you're talking about right here on this campus, and I want to go back into that fishbowl for just a moment, 2017 has been a pretty phenomenal year. You're talking about teams all across campus winning regular season championships, conference championships, setting records for most wins in a season. You know, the basketball team last year in the season that ended in 2017 tied the school record for most wins with 33. We just came off of a football season that was one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen in 32 years, almost 32 years in this business now. And the way the program turned around with the cast of characters, it turned around with, there's a sentence for you, but with Clay Hendricks and his staff coming in and doing what they did in year one, it was remarkable to have a front row seat for soccer programs, volleyball, I mean, track, cross country, all across the board. It's been a phenomenal season here. One thing that I actually have a little video tribute to, thanks to Michelle Griffith, is kind of a tribute to the baseball team. Was a gift, actually, she gave me at the baseball banquet right before the Southern Conference tournament opened up back in May. Now, you remember Brett Harker's first season, they also tied the school record for wins with 33 and pushed Greensboro to a winner-take-all game in the championship round on Sunday by winning the first game that day, and then a close game until things got away from the bottom of the seventh inning on in the final game. It's 4-1, in fact, going into that seventh inning. And you may remember bases were loaded with 2 outs, and Jason Costa hit a screamer into left center field that looked for a moment like it might get up the gap, but it was caught. And then the wheels kind of fell off from a pitching standpoint in the final 2 innings. But it was a marvelous first season for Brett Harker's club. And with the banquet that took place prior to that tournament looming, Michelle Griffith had kept asking me for highlights and highlights and highlights. And this is what she put together. So it was meant as a gift for me, but it really stands as a tribute to Brett Harker's first season with Furman baseball. Take a watch and a listen to this from the 2017 baseball season.
Take me out to the ball game.
And he swings, and Heaps hits one high and deep. Did he? Did he? He did! Red Hebner taking the grand tour. Showing no signs of a bunt, and he swings and he hits it high and deep. If it's fair, it's gone. It is, and it is. And the pitch to Elmy. And a swing and a fly ball back into right field. Tharp going back, looking up, gone. Got a pitch up and out over the plate and hit it the other way.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gaddis with the wind and the break-even pitch on the way. And there is strike 3 swinging on what I like to call a Linda Ronstadt fastball, Hunter Reed. You tried to hit it, but it blew by you. Now, Gaddis wouldn't get that, but his parents would.
Edge of the grass for Griffith. And he swings and he hits it high. He hit it deep, and he got it all. Home run. Sims Griffith. His 3rd of the year, and the
bases loaded. 1 out.
Tying run at the plate for VMI.
Quarles with the pause. And again, the 0-2 pitch on the way. And he struck him out swinging with a big overhand curveball in the dirt.
It's been the magic one. Here's a long drive back into center field. That one's got a chance. That one is gone. Jabari Richards put a charge into that baby. And it got out of here right now.
Sherman coming to the plate and a bunt. Line drive caught by Sherman. Throw back to first. Double play. Inning is over. Kay swings and hits this one back into right center field. On the run, Jackson, and that ball is gone. Opposite field home run right over the Bon Secours St. Francis sign at the big HD video scoreboard. As he looks in for the sign, and here's a fly ball right center field. That one's got a chance to get up the gap, and it is, and it's going to be one hopping off the base of the wall.
Bowman digging it out. Grote around second, and he will get into third. Head first slide, but without a throw. And there's another one. Long drive. Left field. Gone again. That one way out of here. Kevin Williams Jr., the left fielder, just took a couple of steps and played the role of spectator. Cam Whitehead is second of the game. No ball in a strike to Crawford. Pitch. And a fly ball. Deep left field. Did he get it? He did! Home run. Jake Crawford. 3-2 again with the runners going. A line drive into center. Overton coming on. Diving. Makes the catch. Takes a hit away. Saves 2 runs. And ends the inning. Put a star by that, baby. Sky Overton keeping Furman on top as we head to the top of the second inning. It's 2-0 Paladins, and you're listening to the Furman I do. That was a big surprise and a phenomenal present. But as I said, it kind of stands as a tribute to the year that 2017 Furman baseball team had. And we are, I think, 49 days away from the opening of the 2018 baseball season. What else did 2017 bring? Well, I think back to basketball. Again, I think to this team, that's this current core group, how they really grew up even more a year ago and really established themselves as a team that could win tough, close games in the league, whether it was home or on the road. You know, after having some issues in the non-conference season with some close games, got into conference play, and really every time they were challenged for a long stretch, answered the bell. In fact, you remember they set a record, or tied a record, I think, for 10 consecutive conference wins. Been a long time since that had happened here, and then the disappointing finish, the one and done in the Southern Conference tournament, getting a second consecutive bid to the CIT, going on the road. Nico Medved leaving the team after the win at Campbell ahead of the semifinals. There were a lot of different things, a lot of different emotions, and then a young assistant coach, Bob Richey, getting an opportunity, and you see how that's manifested itself now through the first 13 games of the 2017-18 season. Again, I talk about football and what the prospects were for this team coming into this 2017 season. And there was a lot of optimism, don't get me wrong, because the guy who was at the helm is the guy, and I've said this before many times, everybody that I talked to once the coaching search was on, whether it was in this building, on this campus, or Furman fans away from campus, who do you want to be the head coach? Clay Hendricks. Clay Hendricks is the guy they all wanted. At one juncture, it didn't look like it was going to happen, but ultimately it did. And man, has it been a fun ride since. You look at the staff that he put together for year one. You look at the we'll call it prospects and suspects. That's an old spring training cliche that he had on this first team for his first spring practice. The issues that they had to deal with, putting in a new offensive system. They didn't even know what to call it. Ended up calling it the hybrid because of so many different aspects to it. And then to see how things emerge, to see how you open the season with back-to-back losses in the last minute or the last play, basically, to Wofford and Elon. You go to NC State, lose that game. But then starting in week 4 on the road at Colgate, seeing things come together, seeing young guys being pressed into playing time because of injury. Elijah McCoy and part of that linebacker tandem, the kitty core that we called them during the season, and seeing how they took advantage of that opportunity and never let it go, remain starters for the remainder of the year. How a guy who
was basically an afterthought, forced his way into a prominent role in the offense, thinking of Keelan Dirks, who will be coming back for a redshirt senior season in 2018, and the impact that he made. How this coaching staff was able to take all of that, mold it together, meet every bit of adversity that came along, and turn it into a challenge met that by the time we got to the last quarter of the season, all of those things that were curses at the beginning of the year, and talking injuries, proved to be blessings at the end because it forced them to create some depth. Getting 2 rounds deep into the playoffs, first playoff appearance since 2013. I mean, so many things to be positive about and thankful for this 2017 football team. And now waiting to see what 2018 will bring, because defensively there was only one senior on the 2 deep, and he was a backup. So you've in effect got your entire defense coming back 2 deep next season. Offensively, a few more challenges when you think about losing P.J. Blazejowski, who was marvelous in his senior year at the quarterback spot, losing Logan McCarter at the wideout spot, losing the tight end, losing your other fullback. I mean, there's just so many chunks of offense that won't be returning, but at the same time, they really weren't there the previous year either. So that's why I said in watching this year unfold, and yeah, I'm in this building, in the football building, so I get a chance on occasion to talk to coaches and get a little bit more insight. But I think up close and personal, this is easily the best example I've ever seen of the difference that coaching can make. And that's not any way, shape, or form demeaning the previous coaching staff. It's just that this group of coaches clicked with this group of players, and they bought into what they were doing pretty much immediately, and the results speak for themselves. And now you're going to have a full recruiting class. You're going to have a full off season of prep work, of strength and conditioning and mat drills and all the things that go into making you a better football player. It's going to be intriguing to see what the 2018 season looks like. But 2017 was, in a word, phenomenal. And it was fun to be in the booth on a week-in, week-out basis and watch the story unfold from week 1 to the end of week 13. It really was fun to watch. So we can only hope that 2018 is going to bring us some similar memories. And you know, you're never guaranteed anything in life, whether it's the next possession, whether it's the next game, whether it's even the next day. And I say that as we get ready to take a break, because just before going on, I saw a tweet from Rudy Jones that really disheartened me. A gentleman that we worked with for a number of years on the Clemson beat when I was doing writing and then had transitioned into pretty much radio full time. Greg Wallace, who worked for the Anderson paper and then went back home to work at Iowa. From what I'm understanding, Greg was killed in some kind of accident at his home in the last day or so. And it's really, really devastating news. I know that there are a lot of folks here in the media and other places who remember Greg, who knew Greg. Greg even did some radio on the Clemson pregame show for a couple of years before he went back to Iowa. And I know how much he was looking forward to getting back home and how much that meant to him, and was glad he was able to do so. Greg was a unique individual, to say the least, but really we all are. And he's going to be missed. It was just devastating news. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to his family at this time, and we will just continue to pray for them in the days ahead. This is the Dan Scott Show. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let State Farm agent Steve Borkland in Traveler's Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else. More money, too, because adding State Farm policies could mean earning discounts worth up to 40%. That's money Steve can help you put towards a college savings plan. Call State Farm agent Steve Borkland today and get to a better state with State Farm.
.52, and down the stretch we come. Final segment of the show, final segment of the week, final segment of 2017. When we get back into the office, it will be Tuesday, January the 2nd of 2018. We'll already have one conference basketball game under our belt. That's tomorrow at VMI, and pushing ahead. Need to take just a moment before we go any further and tell you about Ridge Media. Kenny and the folks at Ridge Media are a one-stop shop. Actually, two stops, because they have branches here in Greenville as well as in the Charleston area. But for any of your media-type needs, they are here, ready, willing, and able to help you with all of that. And, you know, it would have helped if I'd have had the info pulled up ahead of time, but I've got it now. They do logo, print, website design, as well as search engine optimization and marketing. And their clients range from startups to Fortune 500 companies. Locally owned marketing firm with offices in Greenville and Charleston. Call today and get a free consultation schedule. Won't cost you a thing. 864-354-6175. That is Ridge Media. And please tell Kenny and his staff that you heard about him here on the program. All right. One of the things that I told you we were going to keep harping on over the course of the coming weeks as well is the fundraiser that's ongoing for Joel Aiken and his family. And I just want to bring that up here very quickly again. That's my buddy Joel. That's his wife Jillian, their son Elijah. Christmas has passed, and I'm sorry to say that donation level stands exactly where it was pre-Christmas, still at $975 out of the modest goal of $4,200. Now, again, I understand that Christmas is a stressful time of the year. It's an expensive time of the year in a lot of cases. And at year end, you have a lot of folks trying to get into your wallet. I understand all of this. All I'm asking you to do is to try and find something you can do to help this family out. No donation is too small, $5, $10, whatever you can give. If you can afford more than that, then by all means, please do so. But the situation is this, that Joel was born with cerebral palsy. He's wheelchair bound. Can't hold a traditional job, but it hasn't stopped him from doing things to help people. He is a preacher and is a wonderful human being and has done so many things behind the scenes to help people, even in his condition. He has never let that stop him from doing what he could to help other people. His wife, Jillian, has been the breadwinner of the family. She's the one who's been able to work. Well, she has come down with a serious heart condition, and that has kept her from being able to work. So they have an incredible challenge facing them right now, not just getting through Christmas, but day-to-day living expenses, medical expenses, and on, and it's piling up. So I'm asking you to look into your heart, look into your wallet, look into your pocketbook, and see what you can do. I put the link on the Facebook Live comment section as we're doing the show. It's there now, and you can go click that. It's the You Caring site, and they will take your donation and put it into that total. It will also 100% go towards the cause. There's a place there where you can leave a tip, they call it, for the You Caring site, but the money you give towards the Aiken Family Fundraiser will go specifically to the cause. I will also be sharing that link on Twitter and LinkedIn again coming up here in just a little bit. So, again, I'm asking you to please do what you can. Help this family who's done so much in the past to help others, and let's show a little bit of that compassion and that help that the Bible Belt here in the South is known for, and see what we can do to help this family. Great friends of mine, and I hope you'll step up and help us out in this event. Having said that, that's pretty much going to put a wrap on things for us here on the show today and for 2017. This has been a unique venture for me. We actually started it in the latter stages of 2016, and we're always looking at ways to make it better. And with that in mind, we're eyeing some changes for 2018 that once we get solidified, we'll tell you more about. But one of those very likely is going to include an evening version of this show once a week from my home studio that we're putting together right now. Some of you may have seen the test that I did sound-wise last night. It's far from finished, but it's functional, and that's one of the things we're looking at doing, is adding a once-a-week evening show that may go a couple of hours depending on how we're able to put things together. But just looking forward to finding more ways to bring as much information as we can to you, not just Furman, which is what we do here during the day on a regular basis. That'll give us an opportunity maybe to branch out even more widely into some other things than we do here in an hour. But our never-ending effort to bring it all to you, to make it a show that you want to watch and listen to, one that does the job for our sponsors. And so as we move forward in 2018, continuing to try to make things better for you, the viewer, and the listener. I do want to thank the folks who have been on board with me sponsor-wise here this year, chiefly the Atlanta Bread Company for their support as our title sponsor, but all the others who have been on with us in 2017 and moving forward into 2018, we hope. Hall's Chop House, Ridge Media, Williams Hardware, CPR Cell Phone Repair, the Walk a Mile nonprofit organization, I'll get it out in a minute, who've stepped up to the plate with us, and we'll be adding some new ones beginning as early as Tuesday of next week, and we'll tell you about that on Tuesday. I will talk to you again from Lexington, Virginia tomorrow for Furman basketball on the Furman IMG Sports Network, Fox Sports 1440. And you'll also be able to catch it here on the Campus FM and online at Stretch Audio and TuneIn Radio. Tom Van Hoy and I have the call, 12:30 airtime, 1 p.m. tip as Furman opens Southern Conference play at VMI. Until then, thank you again for a wonderful 2017. And until 2018, which is Tuesday, I'm Dan Scott, God willing, saying God bless you. And so long, everybody.
Dream big for what we can do here. Let's not be small thinkers. Let's take what we have, let's use it to our advantage, let's come together as a group, and let's go do it together.
Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the All Den podcast. I'm Dan Scott, and on this episode, we'll be joined by head coach Bob Richey and by junior center Matt Rafferty. Just a couple of notes before we get into the conversation. First of all, beginning with this episode, the All Den podcast during the season is going to go to a weekly format. It'll be a shorter podcast with Coach Richey and one guest instead of two, but it'll also come every week. So be sure to put that into your podcast listening schedule, and that will start, obviously, with what we're doing in this episode. The other thing is, as always, reminding you that the podcast is brought to you each week by Short Fields in downtown Travelers Rest. Whether it's a quick lunch or a nice evening dinner with friends, Short Fields menu has a wide variety of options, from wings to burgers, steak to nightly specials. Short Fields is tops in Travelers Rest, and it's just 5 minutes from campus. For more information, you can visit their website at www.shortfields.com. Well, we open up this episode of the All Den podcast, as we do most of the time, with head coach Bob Richey. His team, as we record this, just got back in town off of the two-game road trip that began in Indianapolis against Butler and then 2 nights later in Durham against the Duke Blue Devils. We're going to talk about the travel aspect of it coming up in just a bit. But since the last one of these podcasts, we've actually played our first 4 games of the season, Bob. Win the first 2, lost these 2 on this road trip. Expectation-wise, the way the team has played, where are you right now?
You know, I think anytime in the early season, you're continuing to try to figure out ways to grow and get better. And I've been pleased overall with our progress. We still have a million things to do better and a lot to correct. But I think that this team has a desire to grow. And I think we saw that, you know, even this weekend. I thought we played much better last night overall than we did on Saturday. And, you know, we've just got to
Check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the All Den podcast, our look inside Furman University basketball. I'm Dan Scott. We are very happy to have you with us for this episode, and it's an episode that, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Short Fields in downtown Travelers Rest. Whether it's a quick lunch or a nice evening dinner with friends, Short Fields menu has a wide variety of options. You know what? Let's back up and try that again. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the All Den podcast, our look inside Furman University basketball. I'm Dan Scott. Very happy to have you with us here on this episode. Coming up, we will spend time exclusively with head coach Bob Richey today. We'll be recapping the Tennessee game, the break that the team got for the holidays over the Christmas break, and then we'll also go back and do that again. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the All Den Podcast, our look inside Furman University basketball. I am your host, Dan Scott. Coming up on this episode, we'll be visiting exclusively with head coach Bob Richey and looking back at the last time the Paladins played on December 20th at the University of Tennessee against the number 20 ranked Volunteers. We'll look at the Christmas break, what coach did, what the players did during that time, and getting back to work in preparation for, as we record this, the game coming up tomorrow, Saturday, December 30th, to open conference play at VMI. All that ahead on this episode of the podcast. As always, we're brought to you by Shortfields in downtown Travelers Rest. Whether it's a quick lunch or a nice evening dinner with friends, Shortfields menu has a wide variety of options, from wings to burgers, steak to nightly specials. Shortfields is tops in Travelers Rest, and it's just 5 minutes from campus. For more information, visit their website at www.shortfields.com.
Thank you for calling Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the company that picks you up. For quality assurance, your call may be monitored or recorded. To help us serve you better, please listen to this entire message. For hours and location information, press...
Hey, Gabby, this is Dan Scott over. And that will wrap up another edition of the All Den Podcast. This has been episode 10. Our thanks to you for downloading it, listening to it, however you get it. We greatly appreciate it and look forward to any feedback that you might have. I think I've done this before, But in the in case I haven't, if you have any feedback you'd like to send us, just send me an email, dan.scott@furman.edu. Our thanks to Short Fields again for sponsoring the podcast. Visit them online. See the full menu at www.shortfields.com. That'll wrap up this episode. Until next time, I'm Dan Scott saying thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being all in. Go Paladins.